He's not even in hand. Okay, he is in handcuffs. Is he? Yeah. The police wanted to build a sound enough case to where when they picked him up, the DA could actually get charges on him that could stick. Now, I could also argue that they could have done that within the first 48 hours because everything was on video.
Roger Jackson has finally been arrested after almost 3 weeks of following his brutal attack on pro wrestler Psycho Stu at a pro wrestling event. A lot of fans and pros were demanding this, and now they've shared their thoughts on the arrest. One of the fans questioned, "The only question here is, what on earth took them so long? It wasn't exactly something that required external witnesses or much evidence to be collated." Another fan named Joel Hughes advised Rampage, "I'm hoping Rampage doesn't immediately bail him out. He deserves at least a year or two before potential release for nearly ending a man's life and no doubt immensely traumatizing the crowd." YouTuber Ross broke the news that Roger Jackson had officially been arrested. He pointed out how the situation had gone quiet for weeks since the incident, but reminded viewers that many people had been calling for Roger's arrest when the story first unfolded. Ross confirmed that the long-awaited arrest had finally taken place.
Roger Jackson has officially been arrested. This has just been reported by TMZ like maybe 30 minutes ago. You know, TMZ, they're very quick with getting information, and usually if they get the information, then it's usually accurate. I know it's kind of been quiet, you know, for I want to say a few weeks now after the whole situation with Roger Jackson. A lot of people were talking about it, you know, when it initially happened, and a lot of people were wanting him to get arrested. Well, it's finally happened.
Ross believed Roger Jackson's behavior showed a reckless pattern that could easily spiral into something deadly. He was surprised that authorities delayed in addressing the matter, considering how severe it was. To him, it appeared as if Roger faced little consequence, living comfortably without any real guidance or correction, even from his own family.
Because the path that he's going down is straight destruction and chaos. Someone that's easily, you know, able to just flip like that and go off the rails to the point where they almost murdered someone, it's crazy. I'm very surprised that it took this long for any legal actions or any ramifications to happen. Because for the longest, I mean, I don't know what he's doing. He's just chilling. I don't know, you know, if there is any disciplinary actions coming from his dad. It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like he's just at the crib chilling.
Meanwhile, Tony Ferguson expressed disbelief over what happened with Roger Jackson, saying the situation could have been avoided. He blamed online figures and media for creating the kind of hype that confuses younger audiences. Ferguson encouraged kids to look for healthier ways to deal with their struggles rather than turning to aggression. He wished strength for Roger's family, felt relieved that Psycho Stu was recovering, and emphasized the importance of making sure similar events won't happen and don't repeat.
My reaction was just like everybody else's, is kind of shocked at that, but I think that it could have been prevented. I think like people, influencers, YouTubers, or everything else that put too much hype and they try to build and they put these ideas in kids' heads, and they're not saying, hey, reach out and, you know, and be like, it's okay. They're making it worse by trying to do this thing, sticking mics in their face and doing this kind of stuff, where as some people know how to handle situations and some people don't. And unfortunately, it went a different way. And all you youngsters out there, that's not the right way to do it. That's just not how you do it. If you do have an issue with something like that, go talk to somebody. I know it's kind of seems like the thing to do, but damn, go find a way to vent, because that stuff is just like a boiling pot. It's not gonna go the way you want it to go. And he should have handled it a different way. I hope that him and his family are able to cope and be able to find a solution for everything. And obviously Psycho Stu is a little bit better because everybody's kind of worried, but you know, it's unfortunate that it happened, and hopefully it doesn't happen again.
On the other hand, after the incident, Doug Malone strongly condemned Roger Jackson's actions, saying his mindset showed immaturity. He remembered stepping in to calm things down when Roger unexpectedly went after him with a weak takedown before landing a shot to his face, even though Malone wasn't being aggressive. He labeled Roger as someone without respect, criticizing him for targeting a dazed opponent and hitting someone who was only intervening. Malone noted that Roger was fortunate he had no energy left after his earlier bout, or things could have gone differently.
When we're in the ring and I'm breaking it up and he shoots a double leg on me, by the way, work a better fucking devil egg, you fucking prick. And then I'm telling you to fucking calm down. I'm not even fucking fighting. I'm not even being fucking hostile. Then you're trying to fucking work and get lower, do this, change positions, and I'm over here having to swim with you, all this other shit. And then you fucking punch me in the fucking eye after we're breaking it up, you fucking loser. That's why you got fucking headbutt, and that's why I fucking punch you, and you're fucking lucky I was tired from the match before this. What kind of fucking person are you? You fucking low-life fucking clown. You want fucking clout, so you beat up a guy that's fucking half unconscious. You punch a guy that's trying to break up a fight and not even trying to fight you. I wasn't even trying to fucking hurt you.
Doug Mallow had earlier predicted Roger Jackson's arrest, and his expectation turned out to be correct. He mentioned that investigators told him the LAPD was purposely moving slowly while putting the case together. Mallow explained that officials already had witnesses and proof, but were working to figure out whether Roger's actions were a plan. He added that detectives even questioned him about certain phrases and discussions to better grasp their meaning.
It's so good. The detective I talked to outside of the case, just to ask him about formalities, what I should look at, what not to look at. He was saying that this is just how LAPD works. They drag their feet. So they're building the case right now. They get all the evidence. The state's going to pick it up because there's so many people, so many witnesses. Heck, even my little brother saw it. My girlfriend, my mom, all the kids that saw it, all the people there. So that right there, they have the evidence enough to try the case. And then what they're trying to figure out is what level of premeditation is, from my understanding, is why he's trying to figure out what conversations took place, what conversations mean. You know, he was asking me what specific terms mean exactly, you know, and like what they mean to the person they're telling them to.
Doug Mallow shared that attorneys had already stepped in and said he was confident Stuart Smith would take Roger Jackson to court. He noted that according to trustworthy information, a lawsuit seemed almost certain and the wheels were already turning toward that outcome.
I heard that Psycho Stu is he suing Raja specifically, or who is he suing specifically?
I know from a decent source that there are lawyers involved, but that was on the internet. I think it was X posted it, and then a couple other ones.
But is this confirmed, you know for a fact from your source, right?
That there's lawyers involved.
Is there any idea of who he's suing?
I think their first name starts with an R and their last name's Jackson.
Yeah, we know that there are lawyers involved, so let the process play out, and then we'll know it by ear. But I can say there's a high probability of that.
That's what's gonna happen to Raja?
Yeah.
That literally sounded like a jail door.
Straight to jail.
Yep.
Earlier, Rampage Jackson also addressed the situation involving his son Raja and Psycho Stu, expressing remorse over the events. He acknowledged that what Raja did was wrong, but explained he still had a duty to support him as a parent. Rampage said the case was now up to the authorities and requested space regarding the specifics, and he added that he felt for Psycho Stu and his loved ones, wishing he had been present to prevent the incident from escalating.
Ain't much I can do on that side, but be a father, you know what I'm saying? And y'all know I can't talk about this shit. I can't talk about any details and stuff like that. I can't really go into nothing. I hope y'all can respect that, you know what I'm saying? I can't say much about that. You know, it's really not my place to say anything, and we gotta let this shit play its course. The shit put me in like a bad mood, you know what I'm saying? I feel bad about Psycho Stu and his family. His family had to see that, you know what I'm saying? And you know, all the stuff that went on. I just wish it was. I just wish I could have been there, but I couldn't. I was out of state, dropping my other kid off there.
Rampage Jackson clarified that he wasn't trying to justify what Raja had done, stressing that his responsibility was to simply be a father during the ordeal. He expressed hope that in time, Psycho Stu might be able to forgive him in that capacity, even if outsiders couldn't fully grasp the situation.
Y'all need to know that I don't condone Raja's conduct. I don't condone none that happened. So we're gonna see what happened, and I'm gonna continue to be a father, and I hope Psycho Stu can forgive me myself as a dad, because for not understanding everything, you know what I'm saying, and let's see what happens from here.
Meanwhile, Brendan Schaub admitted that he couldn't stand up for Raja Jackson, despite wanting to. He mentioned having respect for both Raja and Rampage and even talking to Rampage about the matter, but said the footage left him with no defense for Raja's conduct. Schaub described it as unfortunate, pointing out that Raja's career was only beginning and had already been derailed.
And I'll be transparent, I like Raja, and obviously I adore Rampage. Me and Rampage have a great relationship. I love Rampage. And it's just by nature, my initial thought was when I heard about this, and I spoke with Rampage, when I heard about this, I went, all right, how can I defend Raja? I look at all the videos, I watched the full live stream and all that. I got nothing. Oh, I can't, you can't defend this. I see this, it's so sad. Because he was just getting started, and that all goes away.
Matt Brown gave a harsh response to the situation, saying Raja Jackson's connection to Rampage was the only thing keeping people from being more critical. He argued that the video made it obvious Raja attacked someone who was already out cold, which he viewed as extremely serious. Brown added that the behavior was so severe, it could even be treated as a case of attempted murder.
You know, if this was anybody other than Rampage Jackson's son, I don't think there'd be any empathy here at all, but we all love Rampage and he's the man, you know, and the fact that he's his son, we're all sitting here like, bro, what the, you know, and what do we think about this? You know, if it was just anybody else in the world, it'd be like, bro, throw it out, you know, in the cage and throw the key away, man. And that's probably what's going to happen to him. Like, you know, you say they're investigating, like, well, there's not a lot to investigate. Like, there's a video that shows it pretty goddamn clear, you know, what do we need to investigate here? So, you know, what's he going to get? You know, I don't know what like attempted murder is, but I mean, he was knocked out and punching the shit out of him. You know, I don't know how far they go in there or what the details are to get that charged.
Matt Brown criticized Raja Jackson's behavior, calling it a clear felony and an act of outright assault. He said Raja Jackson acted unfairly by attacking in such a cheap way instead of keeping things legitimate. Brown pointed out that the wrestler thought it was part of the show when Raja drove him onto his head and noted that it was fortunate the outcome was only a hospital stay, considering how risky the situation was.
Aggravated assault's for sure, battery, you know what I mean? Like, this is a felony for sure, right? I mean, there's I don't think there's any way out of that. So, you know, kind of just is what it is for him now. But like what a man, you know, like, you want to fight the guy. Like, dude was like, you know, we watched the video right before the podcast here. And, you know, the dude was like preparing for a pro wrestling style takedown and slammed him on his head. Like, you know, dude's lucky that, you know, like you said, he's hospitalized, but man, he's lucky that that's all that happened, you know?
Kevin Lee stated that Raja Jackson deserved jail time, making it clear there was nothing respectable about what happened. He wondered why Raja couldn't manage his temper and suggested watching Psycho Stu in the ring might have fueled his anger. Lee emphasized that such actions had no place in normal society, particularly since people knew professional wrestling was entertainment.
Dog gotta go lay down. You gotta go to prison, bro. There's no part of that you thought was cool. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around why you thought that was cool and why you ain't got no self-control over your emotions. I get it, you and your feelings. You probably was watching them work and just getting madder and madder. But bro, you can't have that in no civilized society. Like, we all understand what pro wrestling is, don't we?
Dylan Dennis commented on the Raja Jackson incident, describing it as difficult to watch. He implied that Raja might struggle with controlling his anger and questioned the reasoning behind his actions. Dennis explained that anyone familiar with training understands the line between working together and exploiting someone, comparing Raja's attack to a reckless wrestling style head slam and calling it both absurd and completely avoidable.
What's your take on this Raja Jackson video that came out? Because it seems like that's caught kind of not just the MMA and wrestling world, but like everyone is caught.
To be honest, it's hard to watch, but in a way, it's like he might have something like wrong, like maybe like anger problems. Because like, why would he do that? You know, and anybody that has trained or anybody that has a brain knows when someone's working or someone's like, and like that would be like me going with you right now, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick you up, and we're working, we're doing a WWE match. Like, you could slam me in my head, like I'm giving you my weight. You know what I mean? So like, the guy obviously let him pick him up, and then slamming him like that is ridiculous, first off, especially being a guy that's trained. I know he's only 0-1.
Dillon Danis described the incident as both reckless and needless. He explained that professional wrestling depends on trust to protect everyone involved, but Raj's actions turned it into a real risk. Danis added that the punches looked meant to injure rather than perform, calling the episode disappointing and saying it cast a negative light on wrestling, which should highlight skill instead of causing genuine harm.
But like slamming the guy like that, first off, is ridiculous. Like any person in WWE can do that to each other. You know, it doesn't. That's not anything like people are adding like, oh, that's Rampage Jr. or something like that. Like the guy jumped up for you to carry his weight, and he's trusting you to take care of his body. You know what I mean? And then he's throwing those shots, and like, I get you can kind of lay one in, like, you know what I mean? I can hit you like that, but not even. But the first one was like a haymaker. He's trying to like kill the guy, and like, it's just sad. Like I don't understand what happened. Like, it's hard to explain what happened, and it looks bad for us too. You know what I mean? Like anybody could do that. Like, I can go in the ring in WWE and do that to like would I do that? No. Like you're supposed to have a trust. I mean, that's a different sport. It's a pro wrestling, you know.
Dillon Danis felt the situation might have ended differently if Raja Jackson had genuinely meant to fight, but it looked more like a failed stage setup where trust was violated. He suggested Raja could be dealing with deeper issues, possibly PTSD, and described the event as unfortunate, even considering offering support through training or financial help. Danis stressed that in wrestling or practice, when someone lets you lift them, the responsibility is to keep them safe, not drive them onto their head, which made the incident particularly disturbing.
It'd be different if he said, hey, come in here, kid, like I would really want to fight you, you know, and then, yeah, beat the shit out of the guy, but it didn't seem like that. Like, he did the prop can, he's saying that, but then he apologized. Yeah. And like, is this kid? I mean, I don't know.
The dude had like PTSD. It was like,
oh, so sad. It's so sad. I was actually gonna offer to help him, like with money and maybe training. Like, and then he shot on the other guy. He couldn't threw the other guy down. He was like, so it's like the guy was letting you work with his body. Like, you know, when you're training and even when you pick someone up in sparring, you're not gonna slam the guy on his head. Like, that's basically what they're doing in pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Someone's letting you pick them up, but you're not gonna do that. But
Dillon Danis explained that his admiration for Rampage Jackson made him hesitant to be overly critical of Raja. However, he emphasized that Raja's behavior was entirely inappropriate, especially at an independent event where performers rely on trust. As a trained martial artist, Danis said Raja should have understood not to target someone defenseless. He added that in a controlled environment, such actions are unacceptable and harm the sport's image when they spread online.
I like Rampage a lot, so it's like you don't want to blame Rampage. That's the only reason that I don't want to go too hard on his son, because Rampage is a legend. He's a great guy.
Seems to be kind of like
yeah, but like if it wasn't Rampage's son, I'd be like,
the exact same.
You know what I mean? Like that shit, you know, to do to someone, especially an indie show like that, and you're a martial artist at the end of the day. You know when someone's unconscious. Like, if it was like a street fight and you're in the fight to the death and you're trying to kill to protect your family, that's like something like that. Okay, I would understand that, you know? He's a 25-year-old man that's been training martial arts and has been around martial arts his whole life. It's sad, man. I mean, yeah, it's sad. And, like, I feel bad for the dude that he did it to, you know? And it puts us back a little bit, you know, went viral and it makes us like or something.
Tim Welch commented on the Raja Jackson incident, warning that even with possible legal support, the attack might still be considered attempted murder. He emphasized how dangerous it is to strike someone already unconscious, noting it could have been deadly and carried severe legal consequences. Welch described the situation as alarming and said he would be enraged if it involved his own father. While noting that Psycho Stu had regained consciousness, he stressed that the matter remained extremely serious.
Rampage's got money. I mean, they're going to have some good lawyers. But it might be attempted murder. I mean, God, that's the thing. You got to be careful getting in street fights. If you can avoid street fights, avoid them. Especially if you got a temper tantrum. Maybe if you know a little jiu-jitsu and you get in a street fight here and there, it's okay. You can take care of yourself, get in a good position. But once you crack somebody and then you start seeing red and you're not thinking about what you're doing and you're punching them and they're already knocked out, good chance you're going to kill them. And now you might be in the pen. So, I mean, if that guy was my dad or something, I would be furious. So, hopefully this guy comes out of it all right. They said he came to, and it's not looking good.
So that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you found it informative. So share your thoughts on this incident in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.